Hey everyone, welcome to Kohkom's house. We're here in beautiful wintry Pikwakanagan, Ontario. And in this series, we visit community members, we talk to them one-on-one, we go through their homes, and we just get a crystal clear idea of how energy efficient their house is as a whole. My name is Korey Kauffeldt, and I'm the lead energy project coordinator for Pikwakanagan, Ontario. So come on, let's go check out Kohkom's home.
We're bringing it home to Kohkom's house. You'll be healthier and happier in Kohkom's house. Kids will laugh more and more in Kohkom's house. So come on down to Kohkom's house.
Alrighty. Kohkom Maureen, could you please tell me some issues you've been having with your home?
Sure. So I guess the primary issue is my windows that are over 30 years old, and they don't close properly. They have mold, and there's condensation like on the inside of the panes, and they're very, very drafty. So that's, I think, my first area of concern. And then same with the doors. They don't have a proper seal on them. So the front door, back door, the basement door for sure, and my patio doors are in very rough shape too. They're old, and actually the living room patio has rot. I think the basement itself is very cold and very damp, and I'm sure it's there's things that have to be fixed down there to improve that. So, yeah.
To me, it sounds like those are all related to air leakage in your home. So just on a high level for your information, what air leakage is, it's simply just exactly what it sounds like, the air leaking from one place to another. And in a home, it's traditionally hot, warm air leaking out through your ceiling and attic, and it is replaced with cold, moist air in your basement or lower house walls. We're going to want to locate and address these leaks ourselves. So one way we can achieve this is to get a registered energy advisor to perform a blower door test. And it just so happens I know just the right person. He's on his way here now, and he's going to walk you through your house and identify all the spots for you.
Hi.
Hi, Kohkom Maureen. How are you?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, thanks. My name's Gabriel, and I'm here to do a blower door test today. So a blower door test is essentially, it's a tool that we use to find air leakage within houses. And when I mean air leakage, I really mean drafts. And what we want to do is we want to seal up all those drafts. And the goal is to retain as much heat as we can and make your house more comfortable.
Okay, so I do have a lot of drafts in this house, so I'm looking forward to getting some work done.
All right, well, let's get started. All right, well, now that we're all set up, I'll tell you a little bit about how this is going to go. So this is my blower door here. There's the fan down there. And essentially what's going on here is we're going to depressurize the house, meaning we're going to push air out of the house. We're going to depressurize it to 50 pascals, pascals being a measure of pressure. We're going to take 8 readings. And so that gives us all the information that we need to tell how airtight the house is. Once we're done that part of the test, that gives us our baseline. So once we have our baseline, then we can go and we can seal up all the leaks around the house, and then we'll do our second test, and then we're going to be able to see the difference, because once we've sealed up the leaks, the house will be a little more airtight, and then that'll show in the second test. Let's go find some leaks.
All right. Okay, so as you can see, the basement's really cold, and it's drafty for some reason, probably the door, but probably need a sweater.
Yeah, it does feel cold down here.
Very.
I think what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna try and see if we can find a draft coming through that door. And the way that we'll do it is I'll light up these little incense sticks here, and we're gonna use the smoke because that cold air is gonna blow the smoke around, and then we'll be able to see where the drafts are coming from, right? So if we light these up, and then we get some smoke coming off it, that looks pretty good. We'll put it right close to this door, put this little light behind it so that we can maybe see a little bit better. Oh yeah, there's a big draft coming along all along this door and all through here. I think the best thing to do is probably to put some weather stripping along that door. Perfect. So let's try and put some of this weather stripping on. You mind holding this for me? Great. So we'll start by opening this door.
It's an old door.
Yeah. Get some of this off. Yeah, nice and sticky, just what we want. And so what we're doing here is essentially, this is gonna block that big gap where all the air was leaking in. And then when we close the door, we shouldn't have that problem anymore. So this foam is nice and thick, and what the door is gonna do is it's gonna squeeze that foam, and it's gonna create a nice seal all along the door frame.
Okay, so will the door be harder to open and close with that on?
It could be a little bit harder to open and close, but if we installed it properly, it shouldn't be a big deal. All right, well, now that we've added the weather stripping, let's try it again.
Okay, I can see there's less draft. The smoke isn't blowing as much.
Perfect. Well, let's move on to the next one.
Okay. Okay, so I wanted to show you this part of the basement.
Oh yeah, look at that. There's a big hole there with lots of cold air coming in. Looks like that was a chimney from an oil furnace. You used to have an oil furnace, right? Yeah, so I think what happened there is when they replaced the oil furnace and they installed the new propane furnace, they just sort of left the old chimney open, and there's lots of heat that's being lost through there and cold air that's coming in. So I think the best thing we can do here is we'll cut a piece of foam and we'll stuff it in there and we'll tape it up and make sure you're not losing all that heat.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. So this is one of the most common drafty spots that I normally find.
Okay, what's that for?
Well, that's actually a coolant line that leads either to the air conditioner or to the heat pump. And you can see here that this here is the furnace intake and exhaust, and you can see that they've already been sealed off. Mm-hmm. So we're actually going to do the same thing here. Oh, wow. Yeah, I can actually see outside through that hole. Let's put some spray foam in it. All right, well, now let's go find some other leaky spots.
Okay, upstairs?
Yeah.
Okay, so just last fall, we had to replace the window just because it was so damaged, like this mold and rot, and we couldn't open or close the window. So this is one window we went ahead and replaced.
Yeah, well, since we don't have the trim on here yet, it's actually a great opportunity to add a little bit more spray foam. I can feel that it's a little cold here, so if we add some more insulation, that should help. The trim itself should really do like the sealing part and prevent the air from leaking in, but the insulation itself is going to prevent us from losing more heat. So we'll add some spray foam and then we'll get the trim on.
Okay. Okay, so there's just one last area I wanted to show you that's in really bad shape.
Oh yeah, I can feel a little bit of cold air coming through there, and you can see a tiny bit of daylight too. It looks like there's a little hole right in the corner there, and it looks like where the floorboards meets the frame is a bit like a crack all along where there's cold air leaking in. So this isn't really something that we can fix ourselves. I think the best course of action would be to get a contractor in here and to replace the door and to replace the frame around the door. And then that's the best way to seal this up. Okay, well, now that we're done finding all the leaks and sealing all the ones that we can, I think the next step for us is to do our next blower door test, and we'll see how much we've improved the air tightness of the house.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so we're all done the second test. We got some pretty good results. The results of the first test was 3.27 air changes per hour. And when I say air changes per hour, it's a metric that we use to measure air tightness. So if I was going to leave that fan on for 1 hour, how many times would all the air in the house be changed? Just for some background on that. So our first result was 3.27 and our second result was 3. So we've actually increased the air tightness of the house by about 8% just with the few small measures that we did. So I'm really happy with that. And once we get the new doors and new windows and new siding on, it's going to be even better.
Okay, so I'm pretty impressed with the changes that you've made here for my heating and my comfort level, and thank you.
Yeah, right on. Well, I'll pack up my stuff and move on to the next house.
Okay.
How are you doing?
I'm good, good.
How are you finding your recently sealed up home?
Well, it was Gabe was quite thorough, and he did identify like a lot of air leakage areas. So we went through that, like with some of the windows and the doors, and actually old venting systems in the basement. So it makes a difference. I find that the temperature is quite more comfortable here. It's not as drafty. The other thing is that the air quality monitor, it showed that it decreased.
So that's to be expected when you don't have proper mechanical ventilation after air sealing.
Okay.
So basically what had happened in your home is we got rid of all natural ventilation. That's air leakage, right? And now that there's no way for air to flow in your home, it's just stagnant, stale air. So now your air quality is decreased because there's no air changes naturally. You have to do it mechanically, is what it's called. Mechanical ventilation. Join us next time on Kohkom's House, where we will be discussing mechanical ventilation and how to do it right.
Bringing it home to Kohkom's house. You'll be healthier and happier in Kohkom's house. Kids will laugh more and more in Kohkom's house. So come on down to Kohkom's house. There's so much that you can say by turning on the lights. You just have to change the incandescents to LEDs. Well, bringing it home to Kohkom's house. You'll be healthier and happier in Kohkom's house. Kids will laugh more and more in Kohkom's house. So come on down to Kohkom's house, all you wah-wah boys and wah-wah girls. All right.